Hey guys, just one look at this thing and you know exactly what you're looking at. But take another look and you might see something futuristic.
Wait a minute, are you telling me that this sucker is nuclear?
Hey, keep rolling there. No, this sucker's electrical.
That's right, this sucker's electrical. But you knew that already, you ain't no fool. You clicked on this video because you're curious about the all-electric new Mini Cooper. Well, here I am at the car's launch in sunny Spain. I'm gonna drive it, I'm gonna fondle the interior, and then I'm gonna talk about prices for Singapore. So stick around, let's check it out together. Okay, first up, this is a pure electric car, and what I mean by that is it's actually built on a dedicated EV platform. The previous Mini Electric was a combustion conversion, but this one is actually like a downsized version of the Mini Aceman. That's the electric crossover that Mini launched in Beijing in April. And like the Aceman, the electric Cooper is going to be built in China and then exported to Singapore and the rest of the world. But do you really care? Do you really think that pale British hands are better at screwing cars together than Chinese hands? If you do want a more traditional Mini Cooper, Mini is launching two petrol versions, the 1.5 litre Cooper C and the 2 litre Cooper S. But you can definitely see that those cars are very heavy facelifts of the old Mini hatchback. But this one is definitely very next generation looking. I mean, look, there's no actual grille, there's just a sort of octagon suggesting one. The door handles are flush, which is kind of an EV must-have these days, and actually so are the tail lamps. There's no more chrome rings around the headlights, or chrome anywhere, come to think of it. Instead, you get a new finish called Vibrant Silver, which is a bit more progressive looking. I guess chrome is more Harley Davidson than modern Mini now. And look, no more plastic wheel extensions here, and I think that's consistent with this car's pared down, simplified and minimalistic look. But also, I think it's because, well, sustainability and lots of plastic just don't go together. And while I'm here, I may as well tell you that this car is just a teeny bit longer than before, like 8 mils longer, but the wheelbase is 31 milliliters longer, and that's because electric motors are more compact, and when they say they've pulled the wheels out to the corners of this car, they really mean it. May as well also make use of some lovely stock footage from a sunny day to show you that the lights have some playful welcome animations too. And that's meant to create a sense of anticipation when you approach the car, and it's kind of nice, but I'm not too sure what to make of the wing mirrors. They stick out a bit and they look slightly oversized for the car. And to me, the Cooper SE almost looks a bit chunky at the back, a little bit monolithic for a Mini. But overall, I really like the look of this thing, and if you ask me, a Mini Cooper only has two jobs. It has to make you smile when you look at it, and it should make you giggle when you drive it. Man, it's slippery today. Okay, here's the part of the video where I just regurgitate facts at you. There are actually going to be two electric Mini Coopers. There's the basic Cooper E. Now both of them are single motor front wheel drive. The Cooper E has 184 horsepower and it gets from 0 to 100 in a respectable 7.3 seconds. But the battery is pretty small, it's only 36.6 kilowatt hours, and that is apparently good for a range of 305 kilometers. But this one, the one I'm driving, this is the Cooper SE. It has 218 horsepower, but more important than that, it does have a bigger battery, so the range is quite a bit further, 402 kilometers. Okay, but 402 kilometers is not a given, right? And you have to do your part as a driver. One thing that really helps is when you engage the more, say, eco-friendly driving mode or driving experience as they're called now. There's actually 7 in this car, but I'm actually just going to show you 3. So let me just switch into the green mode now. You know, all the predictable things happen, so it calms down the accelerator response. And sometimes it turns down the climate control as well. But more to the point actually, the screen actually comes up with a little hummingbird, and when you accelerate harder, it changes from a hummingbird to a cheetah. So, and it tells you high consumption as well. And I think that's good because it coaches you to save energy, because really you can select all the driving modes you want. The most important factor when you want to save energy, or even fuel for that matter, is the driver. But you know what, I think this could be the best mode for driving around in Singapore traffic, because when you try to drive efficiently, you also kind of calm down a little bit and you tend to take things easy. And we could certainly do with a little bit more of that in Singapore. Okay, but this is a Mini, so there's always going to be some kind of retro element. So that gives me the chance to show you something, and it's a new experience mode called Timeless. So straight away you can see on the screen everything becomes a bit more sepia, a bit more retro, and the fonts become sort of old-timey. But I don't know if you can hear this, but when I step on the gas, I get this slightly strange, slightly electric, but slightly analog sound as well, and that's because they've actually taken the engine noise of a Morris Mini Minor way back from the 50s and digitized it and kind of turned it into, well, what we have here, something digital, something analog, something slightly retro, something slightly futuristic. Yeah, I'm not digging that myself though, so I'm really not sure if they put that there just to make you glad actually that you've left combustion behind and that you've gone to electric motors, because if this is what engines used to sound like, I would not want petrol in my life at all. Okay, but as I said, this is a Mini, so apart from retro, you also need something, and say it with me, go-kart-like about this car. So there is a go-kart experience, and yep, everything goes red, black and white, like a checkered pattern, and I think the noise goes up a notch, and you can actually feel like there's a little bit more response when you step on the accelerator. And you know what? I think the steering gets just a little bit weightier as well. So this car, I have to say, is not super fast. Listen to that. And you know what? It's not super light, it's like 1.6 tons, but it wears its weight really well because the batteries are under the car, of course. So it's actually very composed through corners. And speaking of corners, I'm actually having a lot of fun on this twisty road here. I mean, the car is agile, the steering is accurate, and it actually comes alive when you drive the car a little bit more quickly. And okay, it's been raining all day, so the roads are a little bit greasy, and I am getting a little bit of understeer, but you can actually feel what's happening in good time. So it gives you kind of all the feedback that you might want as a driver. So overall, I would say that this does feel like a Mini, and there really is a built-in sense of fun. Now that sense of fun really carries on into the interior. And like the outside of the car, this is actually very stripped down and minimalist. It actually takes fewer components to build this cabin compared to before. There's a couple of trim lines. This yellow car has the classic trim, and I don't know what you make of this recycled polyester textile over here. It does look very nice, but I'm wondering, how do you clean it? Because I'm used to wiping down my dashboards, but do you take a vacuum cleaner and just go over the dashboard here? There's another trim line called Favorite Trim, and as you can see, it's a little more posh. The textile dashboard is two-tone, and it has a kind of houndstooth pattern on it. The sport seats have contrast stitching, and they're covered in Veshin, a kind of premium synthetic leather that's 100% recyclable. It kind of looks like they got a fashion designer to do this car. So you've got this houndstooth pattern on the seats over here, and a little bit of a textile pattern for a bit of contrast. And even the doors are slightly two-tone, so it doesn't look too grim. And then if you look at the steering wheel, they've got a lovely strap here just for decoration. And then this leather strap over here. It doesn't serve any purpose at all, but it is nice to look at. And I think that when you drive a Mini, you're kind of making a little bit of a fashion statement. So why not have a car that's also a little bit of a fashion item? Okay, and now allow me to have my old man moment, because I want to talk about this 240mm OLED display. It looks fantastic and the graphics are really, really sharp and really vibrant. But man, using this thing is just something that they do for young people, or something they do to annoy old people. So you swipe up from the bottom to find these functions over here. Let me dismiss that and just swipe back down. You can swipe left and right. And you can see it's already defying me. You can swipe left and right to find different functions again. And you have a dock here with permanent access to important things like your phone, the navigation, media, things like that. To change the aircon temperature, you have to tap here and then you can slide or tap again. So 2 taps instead of 1. And overall, if you want to find something that you're kind of looking for, it is a bit of a hunt. And when you're driving and you have to look at all that and figure out where everything is, it really can be a bit much. So I tell you what, this looks great, and I'm sure that young people find it awesome to use and awesome to look at. But struggling with it today has really made me feel old. Okay, now it's time to check out the back seats. I know nobody buys a Mini Cooper to be like a family car, but sometimes you've got friends with you and you want to take them along. So I'm going to put my old spine to the test here. But before I do that, if you're enjoying this, please consider subscribing. We are a new channel. We could really use your support. Now, wish me luck. Okay, so I screwed up the first part already. You pull this strap and this moves out of the way electrically. And I'm actually going to just climb back here and pull this back. This is my driving position. Oh no, it's gonna come and crash my legs. I know it. Oh no, actually it's not too bad. So as I said, that's my driving position and I actually have quite a lot of headroom up here. And I'm okay for knee room as well. I'm 175 centimeters tall and I actually fit back here. The old Mini Cooper was like, this is the place where you send the naughty children. But this one, you can actually have two naughty adults here. I have to say there is a lot of space, but I don't see any aircon vents and I don't see any USB charging points. But in terms of making short journeys around the city, this is much better than before. Okay, time for a quick look at the boot. And as you can see, it's kind of tiny. There's 210 liters. If you need more, you can fold the rear seats and then you'll have 800 liters. So you can carry quite a bit of stuff, or 4 people, just not both at the same time. And as you can see, there's really not a lot to see back here. Okay, I want to talk about pricing now. And like I said earlier, there are 2 versions and I think they're coming to Singapore around July, maybe August. First up, you've got the Cooper E, and I think that's going to cost around $215,000 with COE. That's just a guess, so don't shoot me or don't call me names if I'm wrong. And who knows, maybe Mini will give us a detuned version with a Category A COE, and that'll be less than $200,000. And then there's the Cooper SE, and I'm guessing it's going to go for around $250,000. Again, we'll find out in July or August if I'm a genius or a dum-dum. So is it thumbs up or thumbs down? Well, I'm going to give the Mini Cooper E 2 thumbs down. Not because I think it's a terrible car, I actually haven't driven it and I'm sure it's going to be just as sweet as this to drive, but I think a range of 305 kilometers is just not going to cut it. You might think it's enough for you, but in this day and age, a range of 305 is just uncompetitive, and I think that car is going to be a tough sell and it's going to be an even tougher resell. But when it comes to this car, the Cooper SE, well, that gets 2 thumbs up for me. The range is just about enough, and okay, the boot is tiny, but I do think that Mini customers know what they're getting into. And with this car, they're getting something delightful to look at and a lot of fun to drive. And think about this for a second. Electric cars are almost easy to do, right? You can buy electric motors, you can buy batteries, and even motor controllers all off the shelf. But you can't buy heritage off the shelf. You can't buy pop culture significance off the shelf. And like I said at the start, one look at this thing and you know exactly what it is. So this isn't just an electric Mini Cooper, it's the Mini Cooper of electric cars. Hey, I hope you enjoyed my review of the new Mini Cooper SE. If you have any questions about this car or about any new car in Singapore, I will leave my contact details below. So drop me a line and I will try my best to help you out, or get in touch with more car experts at mrchia.com.sg for free advice and free information. That's it from me. Thanks for watching. See you again.